Okay, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to play a game that I like, that's a little simpler, and it'll be a good, introduction to how to role play and how to think about role playing. So this game is called Dungeon World. It's my favorite. If you've ever if you've ever met me in a game context, you know that this is the game that I play. So, is that okay with you? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So in this game, we're not going to be using this D20. We're not using it. That's for D&D. For Dungeon World, everything boils down to these 2d6. See? So 2d6. We roll them. So there, I got a 5 and I got a 3. 5, 3. So that's an 8. And then I'd add whatever the modifier is. So we can go through this in a little bit. But before I get to that, who is your character? What do you envision? Oh, that's so cute. I love that. No, it's perfect. Okay. Yeah, we can totally do that. So you're thinking like a hobbit, basically. A little guy. Yeah. You're cute. I like that. So a halfling is what they're called in this game. So we'll mark that right here. So we'll mark halfling. And that's what you are. So when you attack with a ranged weapon, you deal +2 damage. Yeah, you wanted to use a bow. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so you're gonna be a halfling. You want to be a rogue, like a thief kind of thing. Okay, so we got that. So we're a thief, halfling, rogue, thief. That's good with ranged weapons. Sounds good to me. Okay. So the first things first, you need to choose from these names that they give you. So it's up to you which one you choose, but you can hack it if you want, but I would prefer if we just stick straight to the character sheet this time, at least for your first time, okay? So let me read these off to you. So we have Felix, Rook, Mouse, Sketch, Trixie, Robin, Omar, Bryn, and Bug. So Felix, Rook, Mouse, Sketch, Trixie, Robin, Omar, Bryn, and Bug. What do you think? Out of all those names. Okay. I love it. So we're going to do Bug. Bug. The cute rogue halfling thief. Okay, perfect. You're going to be level 1 to start out. So I'm going to mark that for you. Level 1. You don't have any XP. Okay, and the first thing that we're going to think about is your look. What is your look? So we have body, eyes, hair, and clothes. So body, eyes, hair, and clothes. Okay? So first things first, body. You're going to choose one for each. Body. Do you have a lithe body, a knobbly body, or a flabby body? Lithe, knobby, or flabby? Knobby. Perfect. He's a knobby little guy. Okay, so we have a knobby body. And then eyes. Are your eyes shifty or criminal? Shifty? Okay. Now, when you say shifty, what do you mean? Like, what do you imagine? Okay, so he's like always looking around, like always looking for an exit, always looking for like the people in the room, that kind of thing. Got it. Okay. So a little paranoid. Let me write that down. A little paranoid. Perfect. All right, next. Hair. Is your hair cropped? Or is it messy? Or is he hooded? Or are they hooded? Bug sounds like a non-binary person's name. For real, for real. Oh, they are? Okay, we'll mark that. I love it. Bug, the non-binary halfling thief. With a knobby body and shifty eyes. And hair. Messy. Imagine like the hobbits in Lord of the Rings, where it's like they have really like curly hair almost. So like messy is like it's like this just bushel of curly hair on top. Okay, next, clothes. What do you think? Dark, fancy, or common? Dark, fancy, or common? Dark? Okay, perfect. Dark clothes. So what does that mean? Dark clothes. It's maybe like a dark green cape that does have a hood if he wants to put it on. Okay. Okay. And then like black leather underneath. Okay. Perfect. I love it. Let's see if we have armor. We do. So you come base with leather armor, so you're good to go on that. We're just going to mark it as black. Okay. Next, we're going to do your ability scores. Now, these don't change. In other systems, like in D&D 5e, you'll have you'll get upgrades to these as you go, which is more of like a what will be called in game design vertical advancement rather than horizontal advancement. This game is very horizontal in that like you're not necessarily getting more powerful as time goes on. You're not getting more health. You're not getting more like your abilities aren't really getting better per se, but you're adding moves. You're adding like actual tangible abilities that you can do, which do affect these things and make you more powerful. But it's more like you're choosing these moves that you get to do rather than just like upgrading your character. So, sorry, it's a D&D nerd thing. Okay, so ability scores. You have to assign these scores to your slots. So you have 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, and 8. A 16 is a +2. A 15 is a +1. A 13 is a +1. A 12 doesn't give you any bonus. A 9 doesn't give you any bonus. And an 8 gives you a -1. Okay? So, let's start with that -1. Now, before we do this, actually, what I want to do is I want to go through these moves with you. These are going to be your starting moves. These are the moves that you get right away that you get to use. But they're going to affect how you want to build your character. Because depending on, what class you are, it's going to change which attributes matter to you. So I want you to listen really quick. I'm going to read through these. Stop me if you have any questions, feel free. But as I read, I want you to think, okay, what attributes do I think I'm going to need? And they'll talk about the attributes in here. So here we go. First move. Trap Expert. Sorry. Being a trans girl is funny. When you spend a moment to survey a dangerous area, roll plus dex. On a 10 plus, hold 3. So in this game, it uses terminology called hold. So when it says hold 3, that means you get 3 uses of this thing. Once those 3 uses are gone, you don't have the thing anymore. Okay? So on a 10 plus, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. Spend your hold as you walk through the area to ask these questions. Is there a trap here, and if so, what activates it? Or, what does the trap do when activated? Or, what else is hidden here? So you get to ask those 3 questions at any time. So once you survey the area, the dangerous area, you can walk through the area and ask the questions. So I can even describe it to you as you walk through the area, and then you can ask one of those questions when you get to a point of interest. Or you can just ask all 3 if you want. It's up to you. The next starting move is called Tricks of the Trade. Tricks of the Trade. When you pick locks or pockets or disable traps, roll plus dex. On a 10 plus, you do it, no problem. On a 7 to 9, you still do it, but the GM will offer you 2 options between suspicion, danger, or cost. Okay, so pick locks or pockets or disable traps. And you'll notice, and you can see it on the page, with these moves, they all have a trigger. They all have a trigger. And that trigger is in bold. So, like we just did for Tricks of the Trade, it says in bold, when you pick locks or pockets or disable traps. So notice that it doesn't say that this is a move where you pickpocket or disable traps. Rather, when you do those things, we roll for the move. So you'll tell me, hey, I lockpick that thing. And I say, okay, sounds like Tricks of the Trade. And then you roll plus dex. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. Yep, that's exactly it. Yeah, in other games, it's like there's this feeling that you have all these things in your character sheet that you're supposed to do, right? That you're supposed to be doing these things, but you never do, because, like, especially when you're a magic user, it's really hard to parse through all the different moves and all the different spells and the features and whatever, and then you really have to stay on top of it. You have to, like, know exactly what's going on because you're in a battle. And if you don't use those moves in battle, then your party might die. Whereas with this, it just happens. Like, you do the moves just by existing within the world. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Sweet. Next, backstab. When you attack a surprised or defenseless enemy with a melee weapon, you can choose to deal your damage or roll plus dex. On a 10 plus, you choose 2. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. So you can either, if you backstab someone, you don't have to roll if you don't want to. Normally you would, but because you're a thief, you can sneak up behind someone and backstab them easy. Or you can roll plus dex and then see if you can get these things. So on 10 plus, you get 2 of these. You don't get into melee with them. Or you deal your damage plus 1d6. Or you create an advantage plus 1 forward to you or an ally acting on it. Or reduce their armor by 1 until they repair it. So you can choose any of those things. On a 10 plus, you get 2. 7, 9, you get 1. And if you get a fail, well, I get to do something bad to you, as always. Okay, next. Oh, and I want you to notice what attribute have they been rolling with? Plus what? So if you notice, everything on here has been plus dex. So that might clue you into what attribute might be really important for a thief. Okay. Flexible morals. When someone tries to detect your alignment, you can tell them any alignment you like. So when someone tries to detect your alignment, you can tell them whatever alignment you like. So if someone says, if someone uses a spell, this will happen sometimes with, usually with other PCs. Other people trying to determine your alignment. And we'll get into that in a little bit. I don't do alignment as much. This move is not as powerful, in my opinion, and I mean, we may want to replace this with something else and make our own. So that might be a thing that we do together. We come up with a move together for a thief. You know, mix flexible morals, but like maybe keep flexible morals, but have it do something different. We'll see. Maybe when someone tries to determine your intent, you can tell them anything you like. That might be good. So maybe not alignment, but maybe ill intent. Perfect. Okay, cool. Next, we have poisoner. You've mastered the care and use of a poison. Choose a poison from the list below. That poison is no longer dangerous for you to use. You also start with 3 uses of the poison you choose. Whenever you have time to gather materials and a safe place to brew, you can make 3 uses of the poison you choose for free. Note that some poisons are applied, meaning you have to carefully apply to the target or something they eat or drink. Touch poisons just need to touch the target. They can even be used on the blade of a weapon. So here are the 4 types of poison that you get to choose. First one, the oil of Taggart. It's applied. The target falls into a light sleep. The next is bloodweed. Touch. The target deals minus 1d4 damage ongoing until cured. So you basically make them bleed. Next is golden root. It's applied. The target treats the next creature they see as a trusted ally, unless proven otherwise. And last but not least, serpent's tears. It's touch. Anyone dealing damage to the target rolls twice and takes the better result. So that's more of like a support poison. So which one do you think? You want to think on it? Okay, yeah, we can come back to it. No big deal. Okay, next. Let's get your attributes out of the way. Ability scores. So we have that 8. It's a -1. Let me explain these really quick. And then we'll get that -1 applied. I know we've been trying to do that for like the past 15 minutes, but so we have these 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 ability scores, and those ability scores correspond to a different like ability that you might have. First one is strength. Strength determines your hack and slash skill, your ability to go up to someone with a melee weapon and bash them in the head. That's your hack and slash. Then you have dexterity, which is the one that was mentioned all throughout your moves. That's your ability to sneak, your ability to unlock or use a lockpick, your ability to scale buildings and to jump and to run and go fast and do all those things. It also includes like being dexterous with your hands. Okay. Then constitution. Constitution directly impacts the amount of HP that you have. So the higher your Constitution, the hardier you are. Your Constitution also affects your ability to withstand like sickness and poison. Intelligence. Intelligence is your book smarts, your ability to pull facts, your ability to like, in this game it's called spout lore, where you'll try to like come up with a fact about something, anything. It could be about Cheetos, I don't know. You say, I spout lore about Cheetos, and I'll have you roll. So you roll. Oh, look at that. I got an 8. Let's say I have a +2 in intelligence. Success. Perfect. I do what I set out to do. So that means I have to tell you something interesting and useful about Cheetos. And I'll tell you that Cheetos, while delicious and orange and have an interesting powder to them, that powder, however, sticks to your fingers pretty bad. So if you have to go somewhere or do something with your hands in a little bit, I would suggest using a fork, I guess. Or just opening the bag and then stuffing it in your mouth. So it'll be something interesting and useful. Okay. If it was just interesting, I would say, oh, it's a snack that it can be puffed or crunchy and it has a cheesy powder on the outside. That would be interesting, but not useful. Okay. Wisdom. Wisdom is your ability to perceive the world around you. It's your ability to have like street smarts and have your wits about you. Being able to like suss out a situation and understand what's happening and then make decisions based on those observations. So that's wisdom. It's really important in this game. There's a thing called a move called discern realities. So when you look at your surroundings and try to determine what's going on, you can do discern realities and ask these 3 questions. And those 3 questions, you hold them, you can ask them as you're in the area, and then I'll answer them truthfully. And if you fail on that one, I usually still give you 3. And the things I say are true, which is not good for you. But it's usually good if you actually succeed. And last but not least, we have charisma. Charisma is not your ability to be likable. It is not your ability to be suave and whatever. Charisma is just literally your ability to make other people do what you want them to do without violence. Diplomacy, your ability to sweet talk someone, intimidation, being able to barter with someone, like have this kind of folksy patois to yourself. Those are all things that are directly affected by charisma. So, that -1, what should we put it in? You're sure? Okay. Constitution. -1. That's our 8. And now that we have Constitution out of the way, we can take that 8 and we can add it to 6, because it says here, for your hit points, it's your max. Your max is 6 plus Constitution. So we'll do 8, which is your Constitution, plus 6. So we get 14. So you have 14 hit points. Okay. You'll notice I wrote it twice. I have 14 and 14. This one marks your max. This one marks your current. So you'll erase this right one and bring it down as you get hit. Okay, next we have our 9. No bonus on this one. Okay, strength sounds great. So we got 8, we got 9. All right, 12. What do you think 12 should go into? Charisma, okay. So we're not looking to convince people. Perfect. Okay, next we have our 13. This is going to be a +1. What do you think? Okay. Okay, intelligence. Sounds great. That's going to be a +1 in intelligence. And then you have your 15. +1 as well. Perfect. Okay, wisdom. Let's go. And dexterity is the last one. That's going to be our 16. So +2 in dexterity. Sounds great. So let's just run through this. You have a +2, or you have nothing in strength, a +2 in dex, a -1 in con, a +1 in intelligence, +1 in wisdom, and nothing in charisma. Sound good? Okay, let's lock it in. Done. Okay, perfect. All right, and then last thing we're going to do on this page for now is alignment. Now, alignment can also be described as your drive. So the drive that your character has is like what they want to accomplish. What are they trying to do? In each, like, imagine we're doing like a TV show or something. Like each time we come together when we play is like another episode. And in that episode, there's a guiding principle that your character is going to follow. That's their drive or alignment. And so the thief has 3 different alignments. The first one is chaotic. Chaotic says, and this is a trigger, this is a thing that you do in the session, and it gets you HP, or not HP, XP, experience points, which are very important. Promise. Little chopskis. Oh, and when we play, by the way, the way I give out XP is via little guitar picks. Because I'm a musician and I play guitar, and I have so many picks that like I don't need. So I just use picks. So I'll throw picks at you as you get XP. Okay, so alignment. First one is chaotic. Leap into danger without a plan. So if you leap into danger without a plan during a session, then you get XP. Easy as that. Next, neutral. Avoid detection or infiltrate a location. Easy enough. Avoiding detection or infiltrating a location. If you do that, you get XP. Or evil. Shift danger or blame from yourself to someone else. So if you feel like your character is going to be doing that, then mark evil. So what do you think? Neutral? Okay. That sounds like your character. Avoid detection or infiltrate a location. Perfect. Okay. We still have bonds and armor to go, but bonds will be when we actually get in the session. Armor is going to be in a little bit. Okay. So your starting gear, max load is 9 plus strength. So we're going to do 9 plus your strength. Your strength is 9. So 9 plus 9 is 18. So we have 18 load, and then we're going to determine our current load by doing your loadout. Okay. So you come with dungeon rations. That's 5 uses. It's a ration, 1 weight. You'll use those as you rest, like when you're on the road or if you're in a dungeon. Black leather armor, that's going to be 1 armor worn, and it is 1 weight. So I don't see anything with armor down here, so we're just going to mark that armor. We have 1 armor. And what that means is whenever you are hit, whenever someone tries to attack you and they deal damage to you, you take that damage minus 1. So that 1 armor just reduces it by 1. Okay. And then you get 3 uses of your chosen poison. Now, which poison would you like? Okay. Yeah. Sure. Let's do it. Blood bleed. So you want to make it bleed. And just FYI, you can put this on your arrows. So you can apply it to an arrow and then shoot it. That's always a possibility. But you probably want to save it for like big kind of bosses and stuff. You also get 10 coins. Look at that. So you have 10 coin. And then next we get to choose your arms. Not your arms, I know, but what you use to kill people. It sounds like you're gonna choose maybe a dagger and a short sword? Or do you want a rapier? So dagger makes sense. Short sword, it's kind of like what Frodo wielded. A rapier is a dueling weapon, so it's very pointy. It stabs, so it's like a fencing sword. Okay, that's what I thought. So dagger and short sword. Cool. So that's one weight. Dagger is hands, so you got to be really close to them. You got to be like up on them. A short sword is going to be close, so you got to be just within like attack range. If we're playing D&D, it's 5 feet. Next, we have a ranged weapon. So what ranged weapon would you like? 3 throwing daggers, and I think I know the answer. Or a ragged bow and a bundle of arrows. Okay, perfect. A ragged bow and a bundle of arrows. So you get 3 ammo. This does not mean that you have only 3 arrows. It means you have 3 ammo. There are going to be times when you do what's called a volley, and you're going to do this a lot when you make a ranged attack. You do volley, and if you fail, or if you get a mixed success, there's a possibility that you lose an arrow, and you make that choice if you lose an arrow, and you lose 1 ammo. So we'll get there when we get into the session. And last but not least, we're going to choose one. Adventuring gear or a healing potion. Adventuring gear or a healing potion. What do you think? Yeah, sure. So, adventuring gear, it's like you get 5 uses of it. And when I say that, like, it means that you just have 5 of these like amorphous blobs of like count. And it's basically like whenever you say it, like you won't even say you're using adventuring gear. I'll tell you that you're using adventuring gear. It's like when you reach into your bag and you want to grab something, and it's like something that would reasonably be in an adventurer's bag, like let's say rope or pitons or oil, or anything that would fit into an adventurer's pack and be reasonable that you would have it. So nothing like magical or anything, mostly mundane, like maybe a torch or candles or whatever. All those things, you don't have to catalog all those things. We can just imagine it, that yeah, I definitely had this in my bag, and then we mark that you lose 1 adventuring gear. Otherwise, you get a healing potion. Adventuring gear, cool. Perf. Okay. And we're done. We have Bug, the halfling thief, the archer, who has a knobby body, shifty eyes, with this messy hair on top, and dark clothes, with a cape and a hood, dark green. They have 1 armor, 14 hit points. They do D8 damage. They try to avoid detection and infiltrate a location whenever they can. That's like their mode of operation. They have flexible morals, so when someone tries to determine if they're doing something altruistically, they can lie, and it's easy. It just kind of flows out of their mouth. They're great at disarming traps and identifying traps. They like to backstab people. Unaware opponents are their favorite kind. And for their more significant foes, they use a poison called bloodweed that causes their opponent to have internal bleeding that can't be stopped unless, magical means or a healing potion. They're not very strong. They're not very hardy. They're kind of a glass cannon, but they're dexterous. They can move and they can shoot, and with deadly accuracy. And when they can't shoot from afar, they take out their short sword and slash, or they take out their dagger and stab. Now, one last question for you. What kind of friend is Bug? We talked about Legolas. He would do anything for his friends, sacrifice himself for the good of mankind. What is Bug's motivation? Why is Bug going on this journey? Why are they adventuring? Okay, so that's the question that I want you to think about before session 0, okay? So before we get into our first session with the group, I want you to be thinking, why is Bug doing this? Why is Bug with these people? What's the point? Why did they leave everything? Leave their home? Maybe they left the Thieves Guild to go on these gallivanting adventures. Why would they do that? So I want you to think about that for next time. So yeah, I think that's it. Do you like your character? Yay. Okay, cool. This is for you. It's yours. You can take it when you go. Did you want to maybe hang out some more? Okay, sounds good. Oh, you do want something to drink now? Okay. All right. Well, let's get up from this desk and go hang out on the couch.